Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great evening so far. My name is Logan Bry, I am 17 years old, I'm a senior in high school, and I have arthritis. Now, if any of you attended this event in 2014, you may remember that I spoke about my journey and what I have learned thus far. Well, both my journey and my point of view have changed massively in the past 4 years. So I'd like to talk to you all tonight about my life with arthritis as a whole and the perspective that I've gained from going through it. In the spring of 5th grade, my family and I were out on a walk when my feet started to hurt. We thought nothing of it because I was very active in sports and I did a lot of physical activity. But then my ankles started to hurt during soccer practice, so we thought that maybe something was up. I went to an orthopedic doctor who also discovered that my knee was swollen to the size of a balloon. He diagnosed me with osteochondritis and proceeded to drain my knee several times over the next few months. When this yielded no results, he scheduled me for a knee scope surgery to try and fix it. We went through with it, and after several weeks of recovery, my knee was still swollen and my ankle and my feet hurt. We were entirely back to square one. At this point, the doctor claimed that we were in uncharted territory and offered to drain my knee again. After almost 7 months of pain and extremely limited physical activity, even little 11-year-old Logan knew that this guy had no idea what he was talking about. This is where my family and I made the decision to go to U of M and get a second opinion. Immediately, my new rheumatologist knew what the problem was. At the start of 6th grade, I was finally diagnosed with juvenile polyarticular arthritis, meaning that the arthritis isn't necessarily permanent, meaning that it's not rheumatoid, but it's in 5 or more joints. And as one can imagine, I was incredibly taken aback at first, as the only times I had ever heard of this disease was watching old people complaining of it in a comical sense on TV shows. But sure enough, there it was, spreading inflammation all throughout my body. I was put on several medications right away to try and counteract the arthritis, but the results were very touch and go. Each day was filled with a varied level of pain and physical limitation. Some days I could play guitar, some days I couldn't. Sometimes I could play football with my friends, sometimes I couldn't. Being a creature of habit, the inconsistencies of my day-to-day life drove me mad, but that wasn't even the worst part. The very medications intended to help me had some dreadful side effects. One pill gave me strange hallucinations in the middle of the night, and another it made my face swell up. But the worst of all was methotrexate. This is a weekly injection, and it's one that the greater majority of those with arthritis take, adults and kids, and it often leads to nausea and vomiting. Every time my mom had to give it to me, I would cry, throw up, and hide in the corner of the bathroom. In everything I did, I felt so isolated from everyone else. After all, it's very difficult to relate to a kid struggling with a disease that doesn't even have a visible impact on his body. It was in the midst of this physical and mental turmoil that a hand reached out to help me get back on my feet. This hand was the Arthritis Foundation, a group committed to finding a cure for arthritis and helping those who have it. They asked me if I wanted to start getting involved in some of their events and fundraisers, and my parents finally convinced me to agree. Over time, I found that the fundraising events served as a fantastic outlet to come to terms with my disease and accepting who I was. Meeting others with arthritis and sharing our stories with each other became essential to putting my situation into perspective. There are many people who have had arthritis since birth and have had to deal with it their entire lives, and there are others who got it before proper medicines were created and have suffered permanent joint damage. Yet when I met these people, they were 100 times more positive than I was, and they were fighting tenaciously to hold on to hope and find a cure. It was these people who inspired me to give my all into helping those who felt alone like I used to and find a cure. I fundraised more, and my team got up to $10,000 one year. I spoke at more events, including the Walk to Cure Arthritis and the Tribute to Excellence in 2014. I started training to be a camp counselor at Camp Dakota, which is a camp hosted by the Arthritis Foundation, to give kids a chance at activities that they might not have otherwise. All these opportunities I was given by the Arthritis Foundation gave me the courage to take the next step in my arthritis journey once the time came. In the spring of 8th grade, I was still feeling pretty crappy. My rheumatologist suggested that we start biologics, as the severity of my arthritis may have led to a 6-inch growth disparity between my two legs, which is a common side effect for those growing up with arthritis. I decided to take Remicade, a biologic made from mouse parts that is taken by IV over a 4-hour period of time. And to say that it worked wonders is an understatement. I was feeling fantastic within the first month of taking it, and my condition only improved. After 2 years, I went into remission, as I hadn't felt pain since starting the Remicade. I stayed in remission for a year, and I felt better than I had in forever. However, this past summer, my back started to hurt. I thought it was nothing at first, but sure enough, it was arthritis. I almost forgot what the pain felt like. Turns out I developed psoriatic arthritis in my back and a few of the places I had had it before. Now the big change is that I'll have to have a rheumatologist my entire life because this type has more severe effects and it could hinder my body more. However, as opposed to 6 years ago, I'm not scared about my diagnosis. This time, I know that the massive support network that I've become a part of will allow me to come out of it unscathed, both physically and mentally. In fact, I got back on the Remicade and I'm already starting to feel like I had a year ago. So to sum everything up, arthritis is a roller coaster. Some days my body hated me, some days I felt like any other kid. There are countless ifs and mights to this disease that mentally beat me to a pulp when I was younger. However, this adversity has made me mentally tougher. The constant amount of support I receive from friends and family has made me braver. And my medicines have made my joints better. With thousands and even millions of people across the country working to raise money towards research, spread awareness, or even just let a kid with arthritis know that he's not alone, I know that the suffering caused by this disease will be a thing of the past. Thank you everyone for listening to my story and enjoy the rest of your evening.